And also here, good morning, good morning. What's up, Joe Frank? Mr. Blue here. Hopefully everybody is well. TradePhantoms.com. What's going on, Blessing? Hopefully you are staying blessed. I do got a cold a little bit. My nose is a little stuffy, so my voice is going to be a little off. Let's dive in. What's going on, Shark? Bumblebee Tuna. Eric A. All right. All right, let's dive in. All right, spend about an hour, give or take, go through some morning prep. I'm a little off. My nose, I got a little cold. Nothing big, nothing big at all. I'm fine. I'm cool. Just my voice might be a little off. It might sound like a little Kermit the Frog voice. But other than that, good to go. All right, today's date, January 21st, 2025. Mr. Blue, TradePhantoms.com. Go through about an hour, give or take here. Go through some morning prep. Institutional demand supply is a backdrop of Phantoms, and yeah, shadow, shadow whiskey and lemon. It's just a cold. Multiple time frame analysis, monthly, weekly, daily, orange, yellow, blue. Right, always want to start from the higher time frames and drop down to the smaller time frames. Okay, with the backdrop of institutional demand and supply. This week, just regarding news, yesterday was the futures were open for a little while. Yesterday being Monday, Martin Luther King Day, MLK Day, and then so markets were closed. Futures were open for a little bit. It was kind of kind of dry. Oh, there was a little bit of movement, but nothing too crazy. But regarding today, y'all are trying to get me hurricane juice, shot of hot water, shot of whiskey and lemon. I should try that. This week regarding news, nothing too much in terms of economic wise, right? So nothing really to say here. Even today, just being Tuesday, there's just really nothing as a catalyst. So earnings are coming up if in the stock market. So that's going to be the major catalyst here. So for the next couple of weeks, it's already starting this week. Nothing too major this week, however. I will get to the charts here. So I'll start out with futures. So this is Think or Swim. Put up the major 4 indexes here. So I have the daily time frame S&P futures upper left, NASDAQ futures upper right, Dow Jones lower left. I got the Russell 2000 bottom right, and I'll just pull up this daily time frame of said S&P. So long story short with this is yesterday was holiday. Really not gonna book that in too much for the movement, so on and so forth. But we're continuing this rally into this supply to the left. We have some levels mapped out. You'll see the prices when I go switch to the darker background here in a moment. But nothing much of a catalyst. You'll see. I'll get to the stock market in a moment where stock options where FANG stocks are kind of gapping up everywhere. Apple got a big gap down. Some are gapping up. Some are gapping down. So we're going to it might be one of those days where everything is all over the place. But we'll see. Okay, but last week's close was fairly decent in the S&Ps. I'll get to the weekly closes in a moment. Okay, but up and to the left, we have a couple levels up to the left that would need to absorb in the event that we retest all-time highs here. Now, it doesn't mean that's going to happen. Okay, but we'll map out these levels, and I have, of course, if you're really new here on the channel, just make sure you remember that color code here: orange, yellow, blue. And so these levels up here in the left-hand side up here in darker blue, those are going to be the daily time frames. Okay, so actually, I'll just go to the weekly time frame right now for the SPYs, just to show you all how last week closed. decent little bar here put in last week, okay? And a little slight gap up here today, so we'll see. But this is a weekly candle right now, weekly time frame on the SPY, so the ETF for the S&P 500. And we were talking a lot last week a bit about the multiple time frame analysis where we have the quadrants here, okay? And we coming into the weekly levels, we were in quadrant number 3, and then number 2 on the daily time frame, we were coming into quadrant number 4, okay? So maybe you can run the recording on that over there, but the point that I'm trying to make here is that we've rallied off of that. Okay, we rallied off of this weak level down here, unfilled gap, and right now we're trying to absorb the levels up here to the upper left. Okay, last week we were taking some profit up here in this daily level here on SPYs, call it 600 give or take. Okay, as we were long, right? We were long last week, and next level is up here, and SPYs call it 602 area. Okay, and then other than that, the other last level up here would be the all-time high, 609. So pre-market quote right now in SPYs is 662. So we're gapping up about right there. All right, so we only really have about 1 or 2 levels here, upper left, in terms of supply for this market to potentially, test highs, right? So we'll see. All right, now this is going to be an outside gap up while I'm here right now. Yesterday's high, yesterday's low, have that mapped out already. And so we have this gap up right here. So we'll see if we can get up into this second level up here. Again, 602 would be the price point. Okay, and that would be the same level here referenced on the S&P futures. In futures, it's going to be about 6,100. Okay, and stop loss sweep up here 6,108. All right, and you'll see the prices here in a moment. Better with the darker background. Nasdaq, same thing. We have low, 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 high on daily. Just with this sequence here. Okay, I kind of drew it on Trading View, which is a lot easier to draw. And if I look down to the lower left, there is the level here. So we bounced off that, right? We bounced off that. So we're rallying. And of course, the question is, yeah, y'all can tell my voice is off, right? Appreciate that. All the recipes in there. I'll try them all. I'll do something. Probably gonna have to cut. Might even have to cut this short. To be honest with you, I might not even go the whole hour. I just don't even feel right. 100%. I'll be all right though. So 2 levels up here to the left. So Nasdaq has been a little bit more weaker. Not as close as to the all-time high to up here. Okay, so we have a nice little rally from last week. And again, just make a long story short here to save some of my energy and see how this market is going to react and respond, right? Up into these levels here. So Dow Jones, lower left, Russell 2000, they're further away from their all-time highs. Dow Jones actually might be a little bit closer than the Russell 2000, okay? But focus mainly on the S&P and the NASDAQ. So let me go back to the darker background here. So I got the monthly here in the left, weekly in the middle, daily on the right. So monthly, weekly, daily. And I'm gonna switch over to the S&P. I'm gonna map out the Globex traps on S&P futures, NASDAQ futures, and some gold. Then I'll get to some gaps. So switch over to the smaller time frames. I have the 60-minute time frame here, upper left, 30-minute time frame, lower left, 5-minute here in the middle, followed by the 2-minute time frame here on the right, pop up in the 60-minute time frame. And one of the first things that we do here is map out our Globex high, Globex low, right? So we have Globex high here, Globex low here. Represented by those blue lines. And you can see, yesterday's, action, couple of hours here. So we did swipe down. Okay, we did do a swipe already. We came down to this level here. All right, if you look at this current price here, down, or current price is right here, I should say. All right, but we had a swipe down. You can see, what is that, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time yesterday. Okay, so kind of late evening yesterday. Swipe down into this level of demand. That made the Globex low. The point that I'm trying to make here is that if we break Globex low, we have a level right below here. Kind of already mapped this out, 59.88. So that might be on the radar, Doc, potentially today as what's called a Globex trap long. Okay, so I say 59.85 down in here. Just level of demand below the Globex low. All right, that could be fairly decent here today. Also have mapped out the, this is S&P futures, right? 1 hour time frame here. And also have mapped out that I will still leave on the radar slash doc here is 59, call it, it's already got tagged here, but 59.60. So you might want to allow this to come a little more deeper in the zone. Okay, just level, here's kind of price. So if we drop down below Globex low, one level of demand below Globex low, that's another level of demand below Globex low right here as well. Now this has already been tested right here, this 59.60 price point in the S&P futures on a 1 hour time frame. So you might want to have it come lower down here. I also have a limit in note right here, 59.47 handle. Reason being is because the market could potentially have a liquidity sweep right below that level. So instead of putting your stop loss right below this level here, I was mentioning to maybe even put a limit order in on that price point there. And the NASDAQ already did that. It did swipe below this little area right here and did a little trap and then rallied last week. So because at this point right here when the S&Ps were down over here, the date of, it was last Thursday, all right, last Thursday of last week, we dipped down into this area on the S&Ps, the 59.60, but the NASDAQ swiped a bit below that level, all right, corresponding to the S&Ps here. So 59.47 in short, long story short, could be an area where you could potentially put a limit order in, as mentioned, as noted there. Okay. We have Globex traps up here. We are absorbing this level of demand on the daily time frame highlighted in blue here, as mentioned, right? So, you know, we rallied up 60.50, we dropped down, rallied up to 60.66. I had mentioned last week I didn't like that number, 666, 60.66. Okay, then we dropped back down. That was yesterday. Okay, so these levels are, you know, that we're picking up demand, right? We drop down into demand, and we're rallying back up. So we're absorbing these levels up here to the left. Typically, I don't like to delete. Levels. So you can see how they reacted, but I have to clean this up a bit here, right? So that 60.50 drop back down, as mentioned, 60.66 drop down. That's being absorbed and broken now, right? So above that, above Globex high, this Globex high right here, highlighted in blue where my cursor is on the right-hand corner, we have the next level of supply into the daily supply up here, okay? 60.82, if I drill into this level here, right, 60.82, I'd be careful with that level. So actually, I gotta update this. It's probably gonna be coming up here potentially today. So I'll call it 60.95 to 61.08. 60.95 up into 61.08. And I have a note on the SPY. Oh, I have a note here too. Liquidity sweep. There could be a potential for that to happen today above 61.10. So again, same thing where I had mentioned you could put a limit order down here for a liquidity sweep here. You can also put a down there. You can also put a limit order up here. All right, so this 61.08. So call it 61.10 would not be a bad place to put a limit in to short for a liquidity sweep. If I wasn't feeling so under the weather as much, the liquidity on this is going to be sell to exits, and this could also be the sell short to enter location. All right, so that's going to be right up here. So let me make a note here. SPYs, call it SPYs 602. 25 handle. So there'll be some sell to exits here from longs. This could also be a short location, short entry location, liquidity sweep here. All right, cool. All right, pre-market quote 60, 60. So we're gapping up in the middle of these two zones here because we're gapping up above this level. All right, so up here. So that's SPY's 602, above 602.20s. 602.20s. All right, cool. Cool. So hopefully that makes some sense there. All right, so in S&P futures, 6110-ish area. So 60.95 to 6110. Again, don't put your, I would suggest to not put your stop loss right above that level right there. All right, liquidity sweep, potential there. The NASDAQ futures, say the same thing here, almost very similar. Okay, so I'll map out the Globex high, Globex low. Here's the Globex high. Globex high here. Globex low here. High, low. Demand below Globex low. We have a couple levels here. We already mapped out this 21,280 here. You can see if I kind of zoom in to this point here, you can see we have this level here, and I had mentioned don't put your stop loss right below that. Okay, so I use that as a reference point right there. There goes that liquidity sweep as I was mentioning when I was talking about the S&P futures. Okay, right there. So the point that I'm trying to make now is that a level of demand below Globex low? Yes, we already tested this level here. So I'll still keep that 21,200. I'm sorry, 21,280 level there, and just know that that's not the first time back into that level. All right, but that is a level of demand, not the highest quality, right? Below Globex low. All right, there's another one here that we have referenced. Just drew a box here, 21,014, right? Basically 21,000 even here. There's a level there, very obvious. So be careful with that. Could be a little bit of a liquidity sweep there too. So that's why I left these levels here, 20,875, 20,802 down here. So there's your levels of demand below Globex low, that blue line there. And for Globex trap shorts, if NASDAQ rallies up here, we have 21,900. That could be the area of liquidity sweep above here. So just make a note of that. All right, I'm just looking in this here. So, it's a level inside of a level here. All right, not gonna be able to see it. So, inside of that, but rally base drop right in here. So I have that 21,900 pinned right here. So above that, 22,045 is the level on level inside of here, above there. So this one might be a better one here today. So 22,045. Okay, that's developed during the regular trading hours. Okay, and that's inside of the second level up there on daily. All right, so that one might be a better one. Now, if you're long, coming into this long, this is where you want to be TPing, taking profit. Okay, is what that means. Okay, and in the event that we do break out potentially today further out to the upside, 22,045 would be the better one as we're deeper into the second level of supply, upper left. All right. Right now, no catalyst as mentioned for the news. Markets are trying to. This is VWAP here. That white dash line. The blue line is the 20 EMA, and then we have the 50 EMA right here. So trying to put in some positive COGs here, bottoming tail for a rally, taking out this bar that was put in yesterday evening. All right, 1 hour time frame here on the NASDAQ futures. All right, gold futures. Monthly, weekly, daily. Always checking that. I'll drop to the 60-minute time frame here. And, gold, it rallied up, had a nice rally. We took some profits on this last week, pretty decent, pretty heavy. So far right now, past couple of days, day or two, it's been ranging a little bit up here, okay? So markets rallied up. I'm not going to go, I don't want to save a little bit of my energy here, but make sure I get good for the week. But I'm not going to go all the way back and talk about things that happened over here in the past. But right now we're rallying up decently to that 2750 famous supply zone there. Okay, second time back, right? We have drop over here, basing drop, test here in the middle, all right, and then over here to the hard right. Okay, test here again. So I guess it was a supply that we still need to absorb here. Okay, so we'll see. We pulled back. We were expecting this pretty decent. All right, we mapped out this 20 period moving average right here, and we kind of went through some trend analysis in past sessions here at Phantoms, right? So you had an impulse correction, trying to make we made an impulse move higher high here, and then we're pulling back a little bit off that, right? Which is good, which is great. Okay, which is great off this 2750 supply zone. So pushing back just a little bit here. All right, so these levels down here, albeit I mapped out our Globex high, Globex low here, highlighted in blue. If we break below this Globex low, we have these levels down here, 2,700. Okay, I have 2,692. Okay, down in here, and this made a new level in control down in here. So this whole impulse move over here, if I make this kind of a different color, maybe exaggerate this line as much as I could here. What color can I make this? I guess I'll make it like a light blue so it pops out a little bit there. Maybe that didn't work as great as what I imagined. There we go. Hopefully y'all can see that right here. People randomly finding this. Yeah, if this is your first time on the YouTube channel, I'm a little sick today, so I usually would explain this a bit more. But if you are new to the channel, we cover gold a lot. So if you watch some of the past recordings, some of the Phantoms teams in here, they're in the trade rooms virtually, almost not every day, but virtually almost every day. So we track things on the monthly, the weekly, the daily, and there was a couple of weeks ago. What was it, on a Thursday, January? I think it was January 9th. The Carter, when markets were closed for Jimmy Carter's passing. I went in extent detail in gold on the higher time frames, monthly, weekly, daily. So we try to keep track of it on the higher time frames, and then we drill down to these smaller time frames. But here's current price, and what we're trying to do is just map out levels, current price, and look from institutional order flow. Okay, and if I wasn't so kind of off and under the weather right now, I'd be explaining a little bit more in detail. But we have classes, and we explain what a Globex trap is. And all a Globex trap is going to be a qualified level of demand below Globex low, but we're trying to look for the overall higher time frame trend, okay? So here's current price. We have higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, right? So we're talking about levels and control last week as well in our live trade room. So where if the market made a new higher high, okay, it left levels of demand below, right? And here we made a higher high, highlighted by this blue line that I just made more visible, hopefully, and it left levels of control below here. So these price point 2,700, as I was mentioning, 2692.50. Okay, and we even have the level of control down here, 2675 levels of demand, where we can have a potential bullish long entry. okay, if markets pulled down into these levels down here to the left. All right, this is all the levels that popped out for the new high. Okay, so we have a drop, base, rally, okay, impulse, basing, impulse, impulse, basing, impulse, rally, base, rally, okay, and then a drop, base, rally over here. So there's a couple levels, okay, and this is where we have nodes down here for even a swing to get into a swing long entry, 2700, 2692 area. All right. All right, seems complicated, but it's really not. So hopefully that makes sense. Globex trap short. If we break Globex high here, all right, and I realize this could look confusing here, but all this is the supply zone on the upper left to test gold all-time highs, which is 2,800. So if this 2750, right, 2750 breaks, okay, then you know all-time high is 27,800, which is up here. That's a pretty simple one there, right? So I'm just going to put the all-time high price point here, 28. All right, current price 27.40s, which is right here. So, you know, nothing really above that level right here, that daily level. There's really not much to stop price to make all-time highs up here. All right, right now, gold basing on the 60. Gold futures here on the 60-minute time frame. So it could be base break potentially today or this week. Might not happen today, but could be this week. All right, but put those limit orders in down here, okay? These limit orders, I got limit orders down here, okay? You know, Mr. Blue, limit order demand bullish, 60, 26.92. Half. All right, so get your limit orders in down here. All right, VIX. All right, well, let me show the website here. I wish I wasn't feeling like this, but yeah, that's the website there. If you want to take a peek. Edit, click register. I'll get to that in a moment. Just taking a sip of water. We're going to move on. I'm going to check out the VIX. Go through a couple of gaps. All right, VIX. VIX implied volatility on the SPX, 30 days out. In short, VIX down, market up, VIX up, market down. So mapping out yesterday's high, yesterday's low in VIX. Post CPI, here's it on a daily time frame, so you can see VIX is slightly down. You know, off CPI. Last week, PPI, CPI. You know, markets dropped. Off of that, right? You know, inflation was a little bit like a little cooled off. And I'll map that out on the smaller time frames as well. So just no opposite correlation, inverse correlation, I should say, where if the VIX is going down, market would be rallying. If the VIX is rallying up, markets could be potentially dropping. Inverse correlation. You know, right now VIX is kind of quiet, subdued, down. So you can see we gapped up a little bit overnight, and then we faded down. This gray space is the overnight. Okay, so just mapped out the high offset overnight and the low offset overnight. All right, so if we continue to drop down, that could be more bullish for the market. Again, if we rally up and take out the overnight high and continue to rally and spike up, okay, that could be more bearish for the market. All right, market's going up in 10 minutes. Go to SPY. daily time frame. All right, so here we are. So I'm not going to go through the whole thing in the past here, right? So I'm just kind of zooming in. Just zooming in, we had a couple lower highs on daily, right? Kind of broke that and up, right? We have these two levels here, as three levels, I should say. Well, actually, we just broke this one up here, but one level here, two level here. Kind of already mentioned that. Slight gap up. Well, I shouldn't say slight gap up. Outside gap, close here where the Mickey Mouse hand is, and then pre-market quote is right there in orange. Okay, so gapping up above this level of supply here. Okay, and then again, we referenced this level already. I kind of made some notes here already at 602. QQQs, which could be a level again. If we're long off the open, okay, you know, you pull your VWAPs and see how the opening day's range plays out. Okay, as markets rally up into this level, okay, I would, if you are long, okay, I would start to TP, okay, with that liquidity sweep potentially above that 602.22 handle right here, which is a weekly high. Okay. Qs, same thing, longs, TP here, we have a node here, okay, and then we have a weekly level up here as well. This is not last week's high. This is last week's high right here, but we have a weekly high, two weekly highs up here on Qs. Okay, so roughly 528 and then 531. All right, 531.31. Okay, so 528 basically, and 531.31. Again, so if you're long, TP, hammer close last week on I should say last Friday. Okay, close here. Okay, so gapping up here, outside gap, a little bit of a hammer, so that could catapult this Nasdaq up into this second level up here, potentially kissing the 528 handle. GLD, just covered gold futures. Still long those options on this, so we're gonna have a nice little gap up potentially here on GLD. All right, which is good. So if we rally continue up to the 553.70, which is a gap fill up here. This is GLD on a daily time frame. You can TP some more of said longs from here. This would be TP longs, take profit longs. Yeah, a bit of a pro gap here. Yes, sir. So futures are basing daily basing potential, looking for a potential break in GLD. We closed, you know, we covered this right in the past recordings. You know, again, I don't want to keep saying it, but my energy's off a little bit. Do a little head cold here, but we covered this, so we had like impulse correction, higher high, higher low, right? Impulse correction, higher high, low. So we rallied up, pulled down, pulled back, you know, towards the end of last week, and then now we're rallying back up. So red bar closed. We closed red bar here. All right, red bar, and then we're gapping above that. So what's called a pro gap up. All right, and we could potentially fill this unfilled gap. Okay, the unfilled gap. We closed over here back in November 5th. Closed there. We opened down here. So this is all unfilled gap over here. All right, but we got as high as right here. So we still have about this much to fill. All right, current price is right here. So we have like this much to fill more up. All right, here's current price. All right, so yeah, 253, about 78, give or take. All right, take profit from longs. Could be a potential short, but be careful with that, right? That would be what's called the mean reversion trade. All right, Apple. Apple is gapping down today. However, red bar close, gapping down. Apple's getting down into some interesting levels down in here, monthly wise. So you might want to write this price point down, but the 220, and I got the on a monthly time frame here, 221 and 220. Here's some decent monthly, decent little monthly level here. So even though Apple's gapping down, we're coming down in some monthly, an interesting monthly level here. So hopefully y'all can see that if I stop moving it. Impulse correction, impulse higher, and then, you know, just keep it simple. We're gapping down into a monthly level of demand. You know, I've been selling some puts down in here at the 220. Pre-market quote right now is 220, basically call it 225. So we closed up here in the blue level here, and then we're gapping down right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if we liquidity sweep right below the 220 handle. So you might even want to get a decent long entry here for a swing. For liquidity sweep wise, below 220 handle. All right, and that's like right below this level right here on the monthly. If I had a little more energy, I'd explain in more detail, but for my phantoms that no liquidity sweeps, there could be one right there coming up this week for Apple. All right, even though we're gapping down here today, I'd be careful with the short. A little bit of a novice gap here, move down, close on red, gapping down, okay, into a level of demand. So that's a novice gap down, so be careful with that. Typically, they could potentially get faded back up. Amazon, close here, gapping up, outside gap. I'd be careful. You know, it's going to be an interesting level right here just because we're gapping up. We have, well, you know, we'll see. We're right on a liquidity sweep above there. So even though we're gapping up on that, see how the intraday tape develops. Yesterday's high, yesterday's low in AVGO. Again, there's going to be a gap up here today. So Apple's the only one that's gapping down, or one of the few that's gapping down. Google gap up here this morning. So we're going to be having gap ups here. So this is so just to watch out for a gap up, what's called a gap and crap, gap up, but we fade down. But there's no catalyst here today. And Tesla here wanted to get a better close for the weeklies. Last week for a positive CRG close, didn't get it. Earnings are coming up on this, so we got to check earnings. I'm gonna make sure I rest up today. I was resting up yesterday too, so get myself good and have plenty of energy for earnings that are coming up on big tech. So Tesla's always on the radar here today. Inside gap today on Tesla. Microsoft close here, slight gap up. PLTR. All right, market just opened. Where's my volume? I don't have the volume on. Here we go. Ding, ding, ding. Palantir. Gap up. It's kind of in the middle of the range on Palantir, but gap up. See if there's follow through on that. Somebody wanted to get short Palantir. Thank God hopefully they didn't. Monthly, weekly, daily up. Amazon looking decent. See how these opening bars develop. Let me just take a quick peek at the internals. VIX is still subdued, pretty calm there. Advanced declines, positive 1700. Fairly extreme there. Vol D, volume on the New York Stock Exchange up versus down, up buying volume versus sell volume. Positive. Positive -3 is extreme. It's positive almost 4. And of course, we want to track that VIX there. All right, so far, Amazon looking decent. Amazon. Google. Google on the 2-minute time frame here. Giving us a wide range bar off the open on the 2-minute time frame. Amazon as well. Decent. But we're a little off from the 20-period moving average here on the 60. So we haven't cleared these levels here. So we do have some stuff over here to the left, right? So we're just gonna be a little cautious of that. You know, we could pull back down, right? We could pull back, but right now, off the open, Amazon, Google, looking decent. Tesla pulling back. On the smaller time frame on Tesla, 60-minute time frame, could be interesting. Even though we're down, pulling back, this gap fill area could be pretty interesting here on Tesla first swing. Costco. Yeah, Costco is lined up. Folks were looking at a swing trade on this. Weekly, we were talking about this last week. This is decent for a swing trade. It's outside bar break here on the weekly, monthly, weekly, daily. So that's going there. It's breaking. So Costco looking good. Meta looking decent too. This morning off open. What ticker was that? BA. Monthly, weekly, daily. BA hammer bar closed last week. Off the 20. 200-period moving average flat, 200-period moving average on daily, and the 20's flat too, like right on it. So there could be some thesis here, some setup on Boeing. Google looking good. Google all-time highs. So there's going to be some exit distribution there. spies. Video trying. Yeah, the video gapped up above its thing. So NVIDIA long call, decent here. Get lower down here on Apple. Yeah, watch out for the pullback. We're a little far away from the intermediate time frames. VWAPs and moving averages, so just gotta watch out for a fade or gap up but fade down. It did that a couple times last week. Doesn't mean it's gonna happen again this week, but so far these follow throughs to the upside are not following through right now, so we're gonna be a little careful on that. On the rally. Palantir. All right, right now, spies. Just pulling a VWAP. So we're in the middle of this area here. Well, not in the middle. Well, we're in the middle of two areas of supply. So we're gapping up, but we're fading down right now. So be careful on those longs, right? So you might want to attack a little bit of some weakness. Apple, but Apple's coming down to that monthly 220 area. All right, so everything's fading. So far off the open. I'd work on Amazon, Google, Netflix earnings are coming up. You gotta look at that. Long, no, not long for Netflix. I have to check for Netflix, but I'd say Amazon and Google potentially working long intraday. They're holding above VWAP right now. We're fading back down below its VWAP, so just be careful with it. But I'm gonna head out, folks. I'm gonna rest up. Sorry for YouTube here this morning. I'm not myself right now. Y'all can probably tell. So I'm gonna take care of myself a little bit here this morning. It's the first kind of official trading day of the week, so it's kind of just beginning. So I'm gonna grab some coffee here, just personally, just take care of myself. So just be careful here this morning. I'm gonna get myself good for the rest of the week. But if you want to learn a little bit more, you can go to TradePhantoms.com, type in your email, name here, all that kind of good stuff. You'll get click register Thursday, this Thursday, January 23rd, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be about a 90-minute class for Phantoms. And, here's an agenda. Y'all can read all that, right? It'll be hosted by either Mr. Black and or Mr. Green, and they'll take you through kind of what Phantom is all about, how we trade. And this is not how we traded this morning, how I do it. So, but I caught a little something over the weekend, hopefully getting it out of my body here. And then I'll see some of y'all in class later today. Hopefully I'm a little bit better. And then I want to make sure that I'm good for the week for the team, right? So just trade safe. All right, be calm, cool. It's just kind of the beginning of the week. All right, we'll see how things iron out, track your VWAPs, and paint those bars, my Phantoms team. God bless. Take care, blew out. Trade safe.